I'm Felicia,
And I'm Ian.
and we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome back to another episode of The Paranormal Lovers.
Hey guys.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back to another episode. Thank you for joining us this week. Let's see. What did you love about this week, babe?
Well, the last day I worked, the guy that I was teaching seemed to, get it a little bit.
Did he get it? That kid's something else.
He's coming along. So
These young kids just don't want to listen to their elders.
I like that I'm able to teach him a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
What did you love about this week, baby?
I loved going to the football game last night.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was fun. For anybody that's not in Haywood County, our high schools are really close to each other, so we have one of the most intense high school football rivalries in the state of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And last night was the rivalry game, and we went, and unfortunately the team I was pulling for lost, but it was still pretty fun. I was like, oh.
Also, thank you to my friends that let us park there.
Yes, thank you to those people, because
very much awesome.
Shit, the parking was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They only live 2 blocks from the school, so we were able to just do.
Like, hey, do you guys mind if we park here?
Hey, you guys. It was fun though. It was a little nostalgic because we both went to that middle school where they hold the football games, and it was like, oh, I remember being here. I remember that building and all the crazy shit I did. I was
Right.
a tween teen. Ugh.
I used to walk home every day from that school to my mom's travel agency on Main Street, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
I went to the library every day.
Yeah, I used to go to the library a lot.
Kind of on that route.
Yeah, I used to go to the library a lot, walk up there and wait for my parents to pick me up. All right. Excuse me. McDonald's burps. Yummy. All right. So this week, episode 41, we're in the state of North Carolina, down near Charlotte, and we're going to talk about Normie.
Normie?
The monster of Lake Norman.
Nice.
A lot of people consider Normie the Loch Ness of Lake Norman.
Right.
Which I was like, we have our own Sasquatch. We have our own Nessie.
Yeah. I think I've heard of Normie.
Probably. All right. A little history and background. Lake Norman is the largest man-made body of water in North Carolina. It has 520 miles or 836.8 kilometers of shoreline.
Whew.
Yeah, it's a big one. And a surface area of 50 square miles or about 130 square kilometers.
Wow.
It has a maximum length of 33.6 miles or 54 kilometers with a maximum width of 9 miles or 14.5 kilometers.
Jeez.
On average, the depth is 33 feet or 53 kilometers. But in some parts, like near the dam, the depth reaches 112 feet or 180 kilometers.
That's crazy.
It's a large, it's bigger than Fontana.
Right.
Fontana's a huge-ass lake.
We used to go to Lake Douglas, and that place it's a really deep lake. And so most parts of it are 100 feet down.
Yeah.
And it's just unfathomable to think about.
It really is. This lake was formed with the construction of the Cowans Ford Dam by Duke Energy between 1959 to 1964.
Duke.
Swear it feels like they created all the dams around here.
Yeah. I mean
they did create a lot.
Because of power.
As with most dams built in this manner, the purpose was to use it for hydroelectricity. The power from the dam powers a few counties in the area, and I'm pretty sure that the lake is in 4 counties. Stretches across 4 counties, which is all down there by Charlotte.
Right.
Let's see. It powers a few counties in the area as well as the Marshall Steam Station and the McGuire Nuclear Station. Really tired of all these damn nuclear
Oof.
stations everywhere. I did not know about this one, and I don't like it.
I didn't know about it either.
The water is used to cool the reactors while the steam is used to power the turbines.
The only one I knew about was Oak Ridge,
Yeah, which is right over the line in Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah.
Long before the dam was built, the area was home to the Catawba people, also known as the Iswa, meaning the people of the river. Are you getting yourself situated here?
Yeah, I had to turn my hat around.
You guys like Ian's handmade paranormal weather hat. All right. Long before the dam was built, the area was home to the Catawba people, also known as the Iswa, meaning the people of the river. They made this area home for at least 6,000 years and were once known as one of the most powerful tribes in the South. Once colonizers made their way to the area, they were displaced from their land and now reside near Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is not far from this area of North Carolina.
I think I've heard of Rock Hill too.
I've been through there once or twice, I think.
Mhm.
The land was then used for farming and logging by the colonizers. But once the dam was set to be built, they were forced to sell their land, although not everyone did, which is really cool because if they refused to sell their land, then they were actually paid for the water rights
Hmm.
on their land by Duke.
Well,
Over 30,000 acres of land was bought during this time, and the mill towns of East Monbo and Long Island were closed due to the fact that they would be flooded.
right.
Several cemeteries were flooded as well, including the Caldwell Family Cemetery and the Fleming Family Cemetery.
Hmm.
In coordination with the families, Duke removed the gravestones to another location. And it is said, like, when they moved them, they, like, cleaned them up and made them look really nice and gave them, like, a really nice plot of land to put them. So even though they didn't move the bodies, so there's, like,
Oh,
dead bodies
no.
in the soil under this lake, they do have a location where they can go and visit, like, the gravestones.
I wonder if they had any float up.
I don't know. Well, back then they did bury people 6 feet deep,
Right.
and I've actually learned that now they don't.
Yeah.
They only bury them, like, 3 to 4 feet deep.
Yeah.
So,
But they, like now they seal them in, like, these, like,
yeah,
plastic, almost like Tupperwares.
yeah. Or, like, I wanna say it's more like cement,
Right.
because 'cause I'd be real pissed if they put my body in a plastic tub and stuck me in the ground, be like, "1, plastic,
Right.
no." Which I wanna be cremated anyway, so
I just wanna be leaned up against a tree.
I want, like, a Viking funeral, honestly, like, put me on a raft, push me out in the middle of the ocean, and light me on fire, and
That'd be cool as hell.
I'm good to go. I don't give a shit. Also flooded were historical sites such as the battlefield of the Revolutionary War's Battle of Cowan's Ford. Now, this is not about Normie at all, but I thought this was really cool. So I'm gonna tell you real quick about our very own Long Sam. Long Sam was a comic strip written from the 1954 to 1962 about a beautiful girl raised in the mountains far away from civilization. Well, after the building of the dam, a group of photographers went out to take shots of Norman Lake or Lake Norman. They literally ran into a beautiful girl in the woods at a well.
Hmm.
She was nicknamed Long Sam after the comet, but would eventually be known as Dorothy Brown. She was such a sensation to the nation that she appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, where she received $1,000 for her appearance.
Hmm.
She used the money to do what she had always wanted to do and got herself an education. She graduated with a degree in education from the Women's College at the University of North Carolina. It is said that it is said that if it had not been for Duke building their dam, who knows what would have happened to Dorothy.
Right.
And I looked at pictures of her. She was beautiful.
Yeah.
She really was beautiful. But yeah, she just like lived out in the woods.
Hmm.
Um, just out there with her family. She always wanted to go to school and stuff, and she ran into these people out there while she was getting water out of the well, and the next thing you know, like, she's on TV and doing it was crazy. It's crazy.
It's interesting.
Now, according to an article in the Charlotte Observer, the Catawba Nation had lore and legends of large snakes and giant leech-like creatures
Oh,
that
no.
inhabited the river long before the dam was ever constructed. I read that and I said,
Giant leech?
giant leech-like creatures? The fuck? Like, I don't like little leeches. Fuck some giant leeches.
Right?
Oh. Many years later, there is now the legend of Normie, an alleged Nessie type creature who lurks below the surface of the lake. One man named Gus Gustafsson claimed that during the construction of the dam, university students were attempting to genetically modify fish to make them larger but still be tasty.
Hmm.
He claims they took the Wyoming buffalo carp and crossed it with an Arkansas blue catfish, and one may have escaped into the lake where it has been growing for over 50 years. I need to swallow a coffee, y'all. Hang on.
I'm gonna go fishing there now.
Yeah, like, yeah,
I wanna go catch a huge fish. And Jeremy Wade.
right. Fish on.
Fish on!
Other people feel like it may be a large catfish, much like the lore of Fontana Lake.
I mean, they do have some huge catfish in Fontana.
Yeah. When I
Like,
was a teenager, I remember them saying they had, like, Volkswagen-sized catfish that
yeah,
had eyes the size of dinner plates,
yeah,
and thankfully, like, I never
big old
saw
boys.
one or had anything, like, bump up on me the few times that I went swimming there, so
I had a friend who pulled out a huge catfish, over here at the Pigeon River.
I mean, if you leave them alone, they'll get big.
Yeah, and people did because it's down from the mill, so
Yeah,
nobody, like, eats the fish out of there, so
which also, like, there's, like, nasty shit they were dumping in the river from
yeah,
the mill, so I can only imagine that
mutated and just growed big.
mutated some weird ass fish. Uh, let's see. Or some people also believe that there's a possibility of it being a large salamander known as the hellbender.
Nice.
And we actually saw the hellbender, I think, at the zoo in Knoxville.
Mhm.
They had one in there, and it was not like humongous. It was like maybe like 3 feet long, but that's a pretty big fucking salamander.
It is.
If you have one that's been in there for 50 years or so, Jesus Christ.
Right.
Many reports have been made over the last 50 years, some even as recent as this year.
Hmm.
Reports have come in from swimmers, scuba divers, campers, and fishers on the lake. People on boats have claimed that something large would chase their boat through the water. Skiers and swimmers have claimed to have felt something large brush up against them while they were in the water.
Hmm.
One scuba diver reported a large creature with a dog-like head and red eyes bite down on one of their flippers.
That does sound like a salamander,
Kinda, yeah,
like a dog face.
yeah. They lost their flipper, but were able to get themselves out of the lake into safety.
Oh, that salamander got him a flipper.
Yeah. One person on a jet ski in the lake claimed that a large creature surfaced in front of them and then brushed up against their leg, leaving a slime that gave them a rash.
Hmm.
A few descriptions of the creature include a large, long neck that stretched at least 5 feet out of the water. There have been reports that it is large as a full grown bull shark with an enormous black tail.
Wow.
Some report that it is long and slimy with prickly skin. Some say that it is like an enormous sturgeon or a monster snake with fins or even a water dinosaur.
Nice.
From unknownexplorer.com, quote, descriptions of Normie vary from sightings to sightings and range from a crocodilian-like creature to the more classic three-humped serpent, though most that have seen the lake monster seem to agree that the beast is more fish-like, with a slender body, thick whisker-like appendages, flippers, and a ragged-looking dorsal fin, end quote. Which kinda sounds like a catfish.
Yeah, that more sounds like a catfish.
Do they have dorsal fins?
Yeah,
Huh, it's a giant catfish.
could be.
One man from Clinton, South Carolina, told a story about their encounter with a creature of the lake. He began his story with his grandfather's account of the creation of the lake and how people would dump buckets of fish into the lake to make sure there would be plenty of fish for fishing.
Hmm.
He then goes on to state, quote, I went scuba diving in the lake looking for the old buildings in hopes of bringing back some old bottles and such. After consulting old 1920s maps from the library, we picked a few sites to dive on and loaded up our equipment in RHIB and set up camp at the lake. On the third dive, we found a small group of 3 buildings, one of which was a house, still with glass in the windows, and a collapsed front porch about 80 feet down. We thought we might get lucky and spotted a big hole in the side of the small house, and we decided to go in the hole instead of risking the collapse of the front porch on us. We never made it. We had Krypton underwater lights, and while the water clarity was near perfect, it was dark and black inside the hole. So we shone our lights into the big hole, and to our complete astonishment, we saw a huge fish. It was enormous, bigger than a diver in full scuba, at least 8 feet long and 3 feet across the mouth.
Nope.
Yeah, that also kinda sounds like a catfish because they have big mouths,
It's giving me the heebie-jeebies.
right? But if you think about, like, an 8-foot long catfish, yeah, that would have a massive mouth on it.
I'm just picturing, like, Subnautica, like, you look in this hole and, like, there's this huge, like, thing in there. Like, "No,
Right.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm out."
They continue with, "We hovered in the water for a good 5 minutes with our lights on, not believing what we were seeing. I've never seen a freshwater fish that big. We were both a bit alarmed by what we saw and still talk about it from time to time." End quote. So, yeah, I can't imagine, like,
I'd be terrified.
yeah, you're, like, scuba diving and you point a light at this hole and
Like,
there's
that
just,
thing's
like,
gonna
this
eat us.
big head and eyes and ginormous. It's like 3 feet.
I've
Its
watched
mouth
Star
is, like,
Wars
this wide.
too many times to know that the bigger fish always eats the smaller fish,
I mean, that's just, like, life, you know?
and there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish. We just watched Meg last weekend.
Yep.
Uh, Meg
Make 2.
Meg the Trench. Meg 2 the Trench, yeah, and there was bigger fish and bigger fish. There was also a giant octopus.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but, get with it. Another, uh, I forgot that word. Another report, experience, encounter, something. S. Campbell of Maiden, North Carolina, stated, quote, "About 10 years ago in high school, some friends and I were jumping from the Duke Power Trestle. We had been there for about 2 hours and making a lot of noise. I went to dive in and decided to make a huge splash. When I arose to the surface, everyone was like, 'Get out of the water!' Yelling and screaming that something was after me. I shrugged it off, and then, after realizing that the water 20 feet behind me was rippling, I decided to swim like crazy. I reached the surface and climbed up on the rocks to see a giant shadow under the water. It was at least 14 feet long. It surfaced a little more before finally going down. It had to be an alligator gar, but I couldn't imagine a fish getting that big.
Right.
It looked like 2 people holding onto each other swimming. So who knows what it was? Needless to say, I haven't been back to jump from the trestle anymore." End
Right.
quote. And, like, alligator gars are some freaky, scary looking fish too.
Oh, for sure.
Although they don't have a wide mouth, they have a long snout, a long skinny snout.
Gars are known for, like, I don't know, doing some damage to your hand.
Yeah, because they have teeth.
Yeah.
They have rows of sharp, spindly teeth.
Mhm.
But it almost made me think when he said that it looks like 2 people holding hands swimming, if it had legs, kinda lean more towards that salamander, the hellbender.
Right.
So, we either got a ginormous catfish or a ginormous salamander in Lake Norman.
Right.
Um, And if you guys would like, you can go into our show notes. There's a website for Lake Norman Monster, and you can see a whole bunch of different reports of sightings. There were a few pictures, although like they're not great,
Right.
obviously. Um, yeah, but you can see all kinds of stuff on there about it. So that was a short, sweet one. The monster of Lake Norman called Normie.
Normie.
Normie. I'm like, that's so cute.
Norm.
But also, can we quit building these man-made lakes and having all these creepy like creatures in there? You know?
I mean, it's inevitable if you have somewhere so deep that, people can't get to, that
Right.
stuff's gonna live in there.
I kind of like the fact that like we live by Lake Junaluska and they lower the lake like twice a year to dredge the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I don't know why because it's just full of shit anyways.
Well, it's, like, so packed up full of silt that it's only, like, maybe 3 feet deep,
Yeah.
except for in the main channel.
Yeah, and you can see like the
The
main
main channel
channel.
may be, like, I don't know, maybe 20 feet deep,
Yeah, if that.
right?
It is really gross
It's a b
though.
eh like, when you get down towards the dam side, it's more like 50, maybe,
Yeah.
50 to 100,
It's
maybe.
maybe 50. I wouldn't say 100 because I've driven past it multiple times.
I've never seen the bottom of the dam, so
I've seen it when they lowered it because Patty was going to preschool over there, so I'd pick her up. She loves to ride around the lake every day,
I've seen the
every day.
intake on the other side of it, or the outtake of it, or the out the what do they call it? Like the flood part, the
Mhm.
floodgate. I've seen the floodgate, and, like, I've been underneath that dam, actually. Me and, one of my buddies used to, like, hop up under there and be all courageous climbers.
Why though?
'Cause we were kids, we were fascinated with, like, exploring.
Exploring the dam of Lake Junaluska.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Sorry it wasn't longer, but um,
Way too fast, way
way
too
too fast.
furious.
Yeah. If you guys want to go check out the source notes down in the show notes, you can see all kinds of stuff in there. I left out some stuff, but I didn't think it was too necessary to put in there.
I
I'm
liked it.
really tired right now. You liked
Like,
it?
I think all these lakes around here are, like, super spooky because most of them have towns underneath of them,
A lot
and
of
it's
them have
just like,
towns.
wow, man, that's creepy to think about.
Yeah, yeah. Indigenous Tales just recently did an
They
episode
did.
on Lake Lanier, and
It was a good episode.
I've heard several podcasts do episodes on Lake Lanier, but every time I hear one, I'm like,
I think you were the one that was telling me, before Indigenous Tales did theirs, about the girl that, she had, like, hands grab her and pull her down.
yeah, that one came
Those
from
super scary, man.
Morbid.
Mhm.
Morbid did an episode on it a few years ago, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, fuck that lake.
Yeah.
Like, no. And
It was cool to hear the indigenous side of it too, when the Indigenous Tales did
yeah,
their, story on it.
there have been like 700 deaths in that lake.
Yeah,
And like, and actually, I want to say that
and that's just after the lake was built.
I feel like, and that's why we drink. Actually, recently, just M did an episode about it, and they said that when they were doing their research on it, like
One popped up.
one popped up while
That's
they were doing
crazy.
their research that they had found another body in the lake.
Yep.
Like, don't go to Lake Lanier,
Yeah, don't
folks.
do it.
It's dangerous. And people are like, oh, my family's been going there for generations. Well, you know what? That's why your uncle went missing 20
Right.
years ago. Nobody can find him because he either got his foot stuck in like a tree or a car or the ghost pulled his ass to hell.
Right.
They drug him to hell. So
I mean, there's places like that all over these woods, like
there really are. Like, but there's something about these man made lakes where they go in,
Yep,
they throw everybody off of their land.
yep.
They don't. like, bulldoze houses or buildings. They just leave them there
And
and
like
then just
Indigenous
fill
Tales
it
said,
up.
that there was people thrown off of that land before the people that got thrown off of it for the lake. So, like, it's
Yeah,
like a double whammy
yeah,
sorta situation there.
yeah, they were talking about how, like, at least there, the Cherokee were living there, and then somebody found gold, and because, obviously brown folks ain't got no fucking common sense and can't handle money, they kicked him off of it
Yep.
and put him on the Trail of Tears and sent him over to Oklahoma,
And then
and, like, the same
the
thing
colonizers
happened.
moved in,
Yeah,
and people lived there and created civilization there, and then the power company comes in and goes, "We're gonna fill this, full of water, you need to move."
yeah, and here's, half of what your land is worth. This is
Yep.
all you're getting.
"We're
Get the
not gonna
fuck
give you the
out.
money for it, but, you might wanna move."
Yeah, like, either, take this money and leave, or we're gonna flood it. You're gonna be here.
Yep.
That's just how it is. And, like, even with Lake Norman, before the lake was ever thought about being constructed,
It's like how the government does with roads now.
yeah, like, the Catawba
People will
people
be
have
like,
been there for
"We're gonna put this 4 lane through here, you need to get out."
yeah, yeah, and they're like, "We're gonna do it,
Right.
whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Here's $1."
Yeah.
Like,
I had a friend who they bought his house over here to put the 4 lane in for Russ Avenue, and they didn't give him what it was worth.
they never do, and it's absolutely ridiculous that they can do that and get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, if my house is valued at $180,000, you better at minimum pay me $180,000 for
Yeah.
my house. But back then
We
and
thought they were
now,
gonna do it with this house and, uh, grandma's and pop's
yeah, just take out this
because
whole corner.
the clover that they were gonna do right here.
I think they're still planning on doing that clover, but I don't
Probably.
know when they're gonna ever start working on it. And if they wanna try and take our house, by God, they will fucking pay us.
Right?
And they will
I mean, I
pay
hope
us
so.
well. No, I'll fight that shit. Let me fight them. Actually, we have land, we have property, we have generational wealth we are building right here,
Yeah.
which is something my family has not had for a very long time.
Yeah.
I'll fight them.
Right?
I will fight them. I'll throw hands. I'll do the knife hand dance.
I know Patty will.
I know, right?
I'll just let her deal with it.
Well, she's currently only 6.
Nobody can say no to a 6-year-old.
She'll be like, "This is my house. I love it. It was Nana's house." She'll be like, "Plus, I'm gonna get this one and that one when all these old people die, so you can't have my houses." Lord, to be an only child of an only child,
Yeah.
like,
She's lucky.
she is real lucky. She's gonna have a good life when she gets older, I hope.
She will.
And yeah, you guys, Patty's birthday is Monday, which will be 2 days
Yeah,
before this episode comes out. So
we're
if you
getting ready
guys
to go
want
to a
to,
party.
yeah, we're gonna have a party today. If you guys wanna throw her a happy birthday on Instagram or YouTube or wherever, or even just shoot us an email, she would love it.
We'll show it to her.
Yeah, we'd show it to her and she'll get a giggle out of it. So if you guys would like, you can head on over to Instagram and follow us at the Paranormal Lovers. Head on over to YouTube and show.
All that stuff.
Listen, we were out late last night at the football game,
We were.
and then I stayed up too late, and then I had to wake up this morning going, "Oh shit, I gotta type my notes, I gotta go decorate, I gotta go get food, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that." You see me drinking coffee. I'm on my second cup of coffee at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Like, comment, and subscribe.
yeah, head on over to YouTube and search for the Paranormal Lovers in the search bar. You can send us an email at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com, and
Yeah.
feel free to
Check out our website. It's really cool.
head on over to our website at theparanormallovers.com. Check it out, see what kind of merch we got. Working on getting some more stuff on there. So
It's an easy way to listen to our stuff too. You can just go
yeah,
there and click and listen to everything.
yeah. If you know somebody that doesn't really like YouTube or
Any of
um,
the platforms, really.
yeah, the streaming ad services, just send them to the website. You can listen to it directly from our website. There's also a contact section. So if you wanna send us a message that way through the website, you can also message us through the website.
Yep.
Alright, guys, well, we appreciate you joining us this week, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.